Hi, Chris here from Tech Tablets with the Redmi Note 3 Pro full review. So it's the new version now that has the Snapdragon 650 in it, an upgraded camera, and most importantly a micro SD card slot now can be used in that dual SIM slot. So I'll show you quickly. We have our recent apps, home and back key here, and front facing 5 megapixel camera. There's our proximity and ambient light sensor and the earpiece. And on the left side we have the micro SIM tray. On the back we have a fingerprint sensor, loudspeaker, it's the Mi logo there, 16 megapixel camera now, and dual LED flash. And on the right side, volume up and down and the power on buttons there. Now these parts here are made out of plastic, and the backing plate here is metal. And on the top, IR blaster, 3.5mm headphone jack, and a secondary mic for noise cancellation. And around here, the bezel, the trim, is all made out of metal. And the quality is very good, the build quality. Very nice, feels quite premium in hand, and definitely for the price range, it's going to be hard to beat this mobile phone. So let's have a look now at some benchmarks and go into further detail. So here we are in the MIUI 7.1 skin. You can see it's got a bit of an Apple look to it, the iOS, and it's their own skin that doesn't, well, it supports widgets and then all your application icons all on one there. So there's no like app drawer. It's okay, but there's a couple of things I don't like about it. The couple of things, like if, for example, just using the phone dialer, there's this directory comes up, so there's a bit of Chinese in there everywhere you go. Now there were about 3 or 4 applications I did have to uninstall that were Chinese. Some of them you can't remove. You can't remove the Mi Wallet, Mi Account. Some of that stuff, unfortunately, you are stuck with. Now you will see that I do have Play Store there. Now this model didn't come with Play Store installed because they don't have Play Store in China. So the sellers, the resellers on AliExpress, Banggood, GearBest, they will install their own ROM, or they will install Play Store for you. Now I managed to install Play Store with a Play Store installer, and everything's working fine. The speed of Play Store is running as it would on any other phone. It loads in pretty quick there, and it does work in landscape mode. Unlike the launcher does not work in landscape mode. It's another annoying thing about it. It's fixed like that. So I do recommend that once you get the phone, you probably just want to dump the launcher, get Apex or Nova launcher, it's a lot better, or even Zen. Zen launcher 2 is another one that's quite nice. And you can fine tune things here. There you are able to hide notifications from certain applications, which I think is a really good feature to have that I would like to see on other mobile phones, because some things can be really annoying. Even though you'll have your phone offline, games like Clash of Clans will give you a notification that your army's ready or whatever, even though you're not even connected online. But here you could disable that, which is a handy feature. And you do have, again, quick access to everything. You've got the torch. You can turn on brightness. One thing I also do like is the read mode, which is good. So that removes the blue light from the display to not affect your sleep so much. So that's another little option there. A nice little extra they have added with the MIUI. And overall, as I mentioned, I mean, it's okay. I think a lot of people might find it okay. It's perfectly fine, but the power user out there is probably just going to put Apex Launcher on. And the browser, lots of Chinese, and wouldn't recommend using it. I mean, it just seems to go through the Chinese search engine as well, whether you can trust that, whether someone's watching what you're searching. I don't know, but this has come straight out of the factory. And you can see the keyboard there's the standard one. So we do have an English keyboard, but we've got Chinese on there as well. Now you can go along and just install Google Keyboard and remove this. I haven't done that for the purposes of this video, but it's what I will do. If I'm going to keep this mobile phone, I will put the Google Keyboard on there just to get rid of some of that Chinese in there. And overall typing on the keyboard is just fine. But as I mentioned, it's using another search engine there. So even if I were to type in tech tablets, I don't even know it's going to bring it up because it's using a, well, looks like it might actually bring it up there. No, but it's all a lot of Chinese search engines, so you have to go through Google. So I wouldn't even recommend using the default stock browser application they have included there for you isn't really something you want to be using. So you want to download Chrome or another browser there. In fact, I'm just going to do that now, install Chrome, and then run a couple of web pages and see how quickly they perform. So head over to techtablets.com, and now that is going to load in. Have a look and see just how smooth that is. There's a lot of images on the website and it handles that just fine. It's very smooth. I have no problems with browsing and using this phone. It's just so smooth, and you don't really see, I haven't seen or detected really any stutters at all. So the web browsing experience is 9 out of 10 really. You can't really fault it for what it is on a mobile phone. And here's how the SIM tool works. So I have a 64 gigabyte Samsung Evo. Just need to place that in this way. And there's my SIM card. It's a nano SIM that I had to use an old adapter there that I've got to put that in there. And that just slots in like so. And I'll very quickly show you how the fingerprint sensor works. So you need to have a PIN number already set up. Then you just go in and add your fingerprint. I've already got one fingerprint already registered. I think you can register up to 5, I think it is. So I'm just going to add one more. So you have to confirm your PIN again. Just another security step there. And all you need to do is place your finger that you want to scan or use on the back of the sensor. Phone vibrates, and you need to do that 10 times. And there we go. That should have done it. Now it's set up, and unlocking and unlocking using your fingerprint is very quick. So just lock it now. Simply place your finger on the back there, and boom, it unlocks. It's very quick and works literally 9 out of 10 times. Now the benchmarks. A lot of people like to see benchmarks. Well, I benchmarked quite a few things and just kept taking screenshots once I ran them all. This is the iStorm Unlimited, 3D Mark, Slingshot, GeekBench 3-score, AnTuTu 6.04 score. Quite a good score there. That is quite high. When you have a look at that result, it's impressive when you think about the price of this particular mobile phone, and it's almost getting 80,000 and in 226. That's just a little bit of the CPU information. There you can see that it runs at idle. It actually runs all of those cores. They tend to be on all the time. A few more details. I compared that to my Galaxy Note 5, and this device actually wins out on some of the results there, which is interesting. So this is the work performance that it got with PC Mark. Now the internal storage speeds, quite good there. Read of 146 megabytes per second off the internal storage and a write of 50. That's not bad for any 32 gigabyte eMMC. I thought that to be particularly fast. And there's a little more information there on the CPUs. So in order to test out the battery life, what I did and what I normally do with most of my phones is I charge them to 100% and then I run the PC Mark battery life test. So I let it run from 100% with the wireless on and connect it up with the network too. So it had signal, left all of that on and configured the display to the correct brightness levels they suggest. So the display was calibrated to and I just let that run, and these are the results I got out of that particular battery test. So the test only just really finished. It's at 20% battery life, and I'll just quickly show you the battery use here. So PC Mark taking up 21%, hardware of course being the screen, and the screen on time was 8 hours and 47 minutes, so not bad at all. And if I just show you the history details, you can see there that the signal, mobile network signal that I had was quite good. So in the green there, wireless was on the whole time, awake the whole time, display on the whole time, 8 hours 47 minutes. And I'll show you the PC Mark results. Here's the score details. So it's calculated the work battery life of just over 10 hours, so 10 hours and 18 minutes in total. And the finer details here are work performance score of 5,555. So scores quite well there with the 4,000 milliamp hour battery. So overall, I'm quite pleased with the battery life. Now, if you're gaming, of course, that's probably going to really take quite a knock on the battery life, because gaming does consume a lot of battery life because you're running the GPU at the max, CPU at the max. So you can probably expect quite a few hours less than that. Maybe if you're going to be gaming a lot during the day, then maybe you're only looking at about 6 hours of use. And now to very quickly compare the scores between the Redmi Note 2 and the current one I have now, so you can see that there's a massive difference when it comes to benchmark scores with AnTuTu, and that power you can actually feel definitely within the UI. And the only place where the Redmi Note 2 actually wins is on the multi-core score, because it has an extra 2 cores. So it's a 6 core versus 8 cores, but the single core score is much higher there too. So when it comes to performance, you can see there clearly that the Redmi Note 3 Pro is definitely a lot faster than the Redmi Note 2. And here's the 4G LTE speed that I managed to get out of the phone. Not bad. I mean, that's just as fast as my Galaxy Note 5 got at the same time. So perfectly fine speeds there. Now you will have to check with your network provider to see which LTE bands are supported before you buy this, especially if you're in America. If you're using people like Sprint or AT&T that have different bands there, you really want to check that out before you go ahead and buy one of these. A very quick look at the GPS. It does pick up GLONASS satellites and your standard GPS satellites, and the accuracy seems to be okay. First lock didn't take long at all, took probably about 5 or 6 seconds. Now I'm outside here in my car. There's a bit of sunlight coming through the window, as you can see, and the screen is on full brightness. I can still make it out perfectly fine. It is winter here at the moment, so the sun's not as strong as it would be in summer, and I'm imagining in summer it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But at the moment the time is 2:40, you can see, so 2:40 winter sun, and perfectly usable, which is great to see. So I'll quickly run through some of the camera options we have. It does have HDR, got the flash we can control, a few manual controls here. Manual mode, fisheye, and if we swipe up we get a different filters you can use as well. And we can go into the video mode, and this allows us to take videos, but there's very few settings in video mode. In fact, there's only slow motion, which I can't enable for some reason, and time lapse. Now these settings only allow us to record in full HD, standard definition, and just normal HD. So no 4K there, but you can record 4K if you use the Google Camera app, which does work. By the way, I have tested that out. So Xiaomi also decided to increase the megapixel count of the camera, so it's gone from a 13 megapixel camera in the Redmi Note 2 and 3 to now a 16 megapixel version. And is it better? To be honest, I'm not going to do a direct comparison in this video, otherwise it'd be way too long, but I might do in another video. But to be honest, it's not really that much better. I can't honestly see much of a difference. Low light shots still come out pretty terrible. Now here's a photo here of one of my cats just chilling out, and it's low light here, taken in the evening, and if you zoom up and have a look at it really close, it is blurry, and sometimes in the low light the focus is completely lost. It's just completely washed out. It doesn't get the focus right, and other times it's quite good with the focus, that is, but not in low light. Low light, hopeless. But when you've got good lighting conditions, for example, this flower here looks stunning. I mean, it really does look really, really good. You can get all the details there. So it's taking some good photos in good lighting conditions, and that's pretty much exactly how it was with the Redmi Note 2 and Redmi Note 3 with a 13 megapixel camera. Daytime photos, good. Now the video quality is still quite average. Here's a sample. You'll see that the audio could be improved, and so could the video, I think. Now the native stock application for the camera doesn't support 4K, but if you use Google Camera, then you can record 4K videos because the chipset supports it, so does the sensor. And here's a sample that I recorded. But you can see that the frame rate is sometimes suffering. It's dropping down. Not particularly good 4K video there. I would rather get a mobile phone that's dedicated to 4K out of the box. There's a few other photos. Macros again, very good. Colors aren't bad. Now if you want to see all of these photos I'm showing you, all the samples and the videos, you can click the link in the description. There's a download. Now it's quite a large file, but that's where all the originals are that I took. So you can download and have a look at those originals and compare them yourselves. And here, moving on to the front-facing camera. Takes an okay photo, and it can record 1080p video too. Quality wasn't too bad. Hi Chris here, this is a sample of the front-facing camera on the Xiaomi Redmi Note 3. Quality seems okay. Can shoot at 1080p. So overall, it's safe to say that in good lighting conditions, you're going to get a very decent photo, a printable, usable photo from the camera. Low light, you're not. You have to hold it extremely still. The slight movement in low light results in a blurred photo, and the video quality still average. So Xiaomi still have some work to do when it comes to the camera improving things. Now just to show you the loudspeaker, how loud it is, and the audio quality as well is quite good. The phone, if used as a phone, what it was originally intended for, call qualities are really good. No problems, sounds clear. The person on the other end said that I sounded very clear, they sounded clear to me, so all good. No complaints at all there. Call quality is good. And the default applications, I'm going to use the default music app just to show you what you're in for. It's going to pop up with all this Chinese here, but then you can go across to your own music and find out what you want. But again, there's a bit of Chinese here and there with some of the stock applications, so you need to be aware of that. And you'll probably end up just trying to remove those apps and go with something like Play Music or your own Power Amp, for example, will be another good one here. So I'll just find my song I just moved over. Now, the reason I've chosen this track here is hopefully it won't give me any copyright issues. And to demonstrate the loudness of the speaker. quite loud, and when you have a incoming phone call, the ringtones as well, very loud. And phone, you can set it to vibrate just like any other phone. Now the audio quality via the 3.5mm headphone jack is quite good. There's no hiss or static on there. I found it to be reasonably good. I mean, I have no complaints there. It sounds good to me. Now under the headsets and audio effects, there are various settings you can tweak there. So as soon as you plug in your headset along here, you can then adjust and change to use the Mi Sound Enhancer. So you can turn that on and select, for example, I do actually have a set of Mi headphones right here, this particular model, HD audio. So you can go along and find them if they are listed, and it will tweak the sound to that particular headphone set. And overall, sound is good. Equalizer can use that also, just like any other. But it's good that you can set these settings here and not in an audio application, because this goes across the board. So you listen to a video, it will still be affected by the equalizer here. So not bad at all. And you can change and assign what the remote buttons do as well, which isn't too bad. Okay, so we're seeing the benchmarks, but how does the Adreno 510 handle gaming? I'm just going to test out a few titles here now. Some of them are quite demanding. The screen's 1080p, so that's definitely helping it. So it's not a 1440p screen. And have a look. This first title here is Mortal Kombat X. Clash of Clans, a very popular title. I know it's not a demanding game really, but it can run slow when you've got really big level 10 cities or lots going on the screen. But it runs very fast, very fluid, and it actually looks really, really good on the screen. Probably just because of the colors, the color palette that they use in this game just makes that screen, the colors just pop out and looks really, really good. Hopefully that's coming across in the camera of how nice this 1080p screen really is. It's not bad at all. You see with the viewing angles. Now just quickly do a very quick attack. So you see it's handling this game just fine. No problems whatsoever. Not that you'd expect it to be lagging on this one. But I have seen some tablets and mobile phones lag with this game. Real Racing 3. Might not be a newish game anymore, but it still looks great. Real Racing 3. And looks really good on the screen, and as you can see now, it performs really well. Very smooth. Modern Combat 5 Blackout. Now for some reason there's no sound on this. I've seen this happen before. I can't remember which mobile phone it was now, because I've reviewed a few. But it looks to run the game very smooth, but that's a bit of a problem. There's no sound. Looking around here, yeah, it's not really lagging. No, I don't think there's any lag at all. This can lag. I've seen it running literally at 10 frames per second on some of the Bay Trail tablets, and even other mobile phones that have weaker GPUs and chipsets, but this is definitely running really nice. Just a shame there's no sound. Dungeon Hunter 5. So this game is perfectly playable, runs really well. I don't think this mobile phone is going to have any trouble playing all the latest titles, the most demanding titles. This GPU is handling everything just fine, this chipset. Now when it comes to temperatures, it's tiniest little bit of heat coming from around this area here, but honestly it's nothing. It doesn't seem to get that warm or throttle. Now I have played it a lot longer than this current video is showing you, but I will get my thermal probe out and have a very quick look. See, it barely heats up. It's only getting to about 30 degrees. Of course, if I was charging and playing at the same time for 2 or 3 hours continuously, I imagine it would get over up to 35 or something like that. But so far, the temperatures of this particular chipset, the Snapdragon 650, seem to be very good, not heating up like the 808. And just if I check the front, getting warm around the screen perhaps, pretty much the same, around 28 degrees. So here are the thermals. It's getting up to, what's the highest, 64, one of them PA thermal 1, so that must be our CPU. So 64 degrees internally and externally 28, 30 degrees. So those temperatures I think are very good. So is it Dragon Tail or Gorilla Glass 3? I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows, but it does have some form of scratch resistant glass on there. And I'm just going to do a very quick test. Now I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not going to throw the phone around or shoot at it or shoot a crossbow at it or anything like that to see how resistant the screen is. What I want to do is just use a knife, my unboxing little pocket knife here, and to show you that it is sharp on the end, I will show you that it does cut paper quite easily. Now I'm going to do the same on the screen, and I really hope it's not going to leave a mark, but here we go. Do the same. I'm going to move it around a little, and I am actually pushing down quite hard. You probably can't see that on the camera though. Alright, did it leave a mark? Hopefully not. Otherwise this phone's going to be pretty useless to me. No, I can't see any marks. I can't see a mark at all there. So it does have some form of scratch resistance there. If I was to force down extremely hard, I bet you I could probably put a mark on it, but I don't want to do that. But that was, I think, hard enough to know that if you're going to put it accidentally in your pocket with some keys or some coins, then the screen at least shouldn't get scratched up. The rear metal on the back, of course, that's another story. That, of course, will scratch, and so will the plastic, and I'm not even going to try that. So there we have it. I think this is quite an amazing phone for the price. You're getting flagship performance without the flagship price tag. You have some features like the fingerprint sensor, an improved camera. The chipset, the new Snapdragon 650, is very capable, very powerful, and overall there's not much to not really like about this phone, apart from the minor little niggles I have with the MIUI 7 pre-installed Chinese apps, the fact that it doesn't come with Google Play. But that's what you get with every mobile phone out of China. But overall, I think this is a really good buy for the price, and it's very hard to beat this phone's performance for around 200 US. Thanks for watching the review. Hopefully see you back in the channel with more up and coming reviews on mobile phones and tablets. Bye for now.